Or do you have a minute or two?
We're live. What's going on, family? How y'all doing out there? This is Mr. Clay along with my lovely partner in crime.
Hello, everyone. This is Lady A. I hope your day is going well for you.
All right, well, let's dig right into it. What you think about this Aretha situation here?
It's really crazy. I believe it's a test to open a door, as you will say, testing the waters. I believe they are lying when they say they are fake, but trying to take away Aretha's records because she said she felt like a natural woman. She didn't say everybody. She said she felt like a natural woman. And they got a problem with natural woman.
Hold on, but question: didn't they come from a natural woman?
Absolutely, because there is no such thing as a natural non-binary, a natural transgender, a natural pansexual. That those are not natural. They're made up. They're no. Everybody came from a woman with a vagina.
Exactly, exactly. I mean, so, and I'm trying to, like you said, even though it then came out that it's a potentially that it's fake, they really trying to test these waters here. They trying to see how far they can go. I look at this as the same way how they tiptoed us into the microchips. At one point, it was such a hoopla. No, oh, we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. Then the next thing you know, now all of a sudden it's acceptable. People running in, so they can get an entry into clubs, so they can get entry into work.
Put them on their kids to
Yeah,
keep them from being taken, or they can find them. It's like
yeah.
okay,
So I can
and
go
so
through
can so can the traffickers. Now that you got the chip in them,
exactly. I mean, so I can go through the grocery store faster than the next person
rushing to
to
death.
go nowhere. Rushing to go nowhere. It's hilarious. And then what else I find funny about this situation is that let's just say this even this is real. Where are everybody who's at Aretha's funeral? Where all them people at? Why they ain't saying
Very
nothing?
interesting. Very interesting. Haven't heard anything. At least I haven't. Now, I will say this. He who runs the media will let be known what they want to be made known. But as long as that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you have a way to get your word out if you have a problem with something. So I agree with you 1000%.
I mean, you had and these is pastors there now. You had Al Sharpton, Farrakhan, Bullock, Jesse Jackson. You had Clinton there. I don't even know if he knew Aretha Franklin.
Well, if he didn't know anybody else, he would have known Aretha.
Yeah,
Go
well,
ahead.
but it's look. I look
What's
at
up,
that
Dad?
and I'm trying to figure out again where they at. Where are all those stars at? I ain't heard from not one star either. Not one of them. They ain't had nothing to say.
I'm right in the middle of a job.
They ain't even have nothing
You
to
okay?
say. Why is that? They don't care. But that's the queen though, right?
Call your mother.
We care for our queen, right?
No. Yeah, I believe that's gonna backfire tremendously on them doing that. That's not good. And I do not believe it's fake. I believe it is exactly what it seems to be. I don't think I agree with what you said earlier that they are definitely testing the waters and they're going to start little bitty things like this. But I think they picked the wrong one to start it off with. I really do. This is the queen of soul, and there are some things you don't mess with, and that's going to be one of them. I can't imagine that being something that they would be successful with. Not that song, and not from the, you talking about a song from the what, 60s, 70s? No, man, you might be able to mess with some of these songs that are vile now, but then you're gonna have another problem. Cause if that's the case, you're going to start messing with some of these rappers, and you're gonna have a problem. You might end up with a war, literally, because now you're messing with people's money. When what you want begins to impact money, then that is a problem.
Yeah, I agree with that. But at the same time, it's. I mean, again? Where's the women at? How can women not be offended at this? I mean,
Well,
just
I
period.
wonder how many have seen it because you told me about it. I had not seen it yet. And I wonder how many have actually seen it at this point. And then the ones that have seen it, I wonder, are they somebody like a Viola Davis who always, has something to say about things? But I totally agree. All the ones who are vocal about everything else, like a Taraji P. Henson, like a Viola, like a Angela Bassett, like Tracy Ellis Ross, those who you see often on Instagram, Kelly Rowland, where are they now? If they had, but I mean, I can't imagine they would not have known something, but it's not impossible because I don't know what these people do during their day. But it was in the New York Post. So not New York Times, New York Post.
There you go. It was in the New York Post.
So, and then, for somebody to try to retract it saying it was just fake, they weren't serious. Somewhere along the way, I can't see where no one would have heard that, but I haven't seen anything. And I follow Viola, and I haven't seen anything. And I believe I follow Taraji as well, but I haven't seen any of them post anything at this time.
I haven't seen
Even
any.
Tina Knowles, she's another one that's on Instagram
Yeah,
quite
I
often.
mean, Beyonce is flooded on Instagram. Beyonce is flooded on every social media.
Yes, but I see her mother more than I see her actually say something.
Yeah, she do more stuff behind the scenes. She's been more
Yes,
stuff behind the scenes. I
and
will.
I see pictures of her more than I hear
Yeah,
her comment.
true, true. But it's and all of these women will be the same. I mean, all will be the same ones singing "I'm a Natural Woman." You got Reverend Al, them be talking about how much they love Aretha Franklin. Where y'all at?
Yeah, because again, I can't imagine Farrakhan hadn't seen this. I hadn't heard, and
I'm
I can't
telling you.
imagine Farrakhan not saying anything.
Okay, all these people got a social media presence. They got a social media team.
Well, I don't know about Farrakhan. He keeps getting kicked off all the time.
They got a social media team. He got three or four. It's three or four, five more people that's on there that's from the Nation of Islam, like RZA, Brother
Oh,
Ben,
RZA is
the
the
the,
best.
the
RZA is
Mohammed,
the very best.
and then it's actually now it's a female that's been doing a lot of preaching. So they look like they might be actually promoting her.
Is this not Sister Shahrazad
No,
Ali?
well, she's not. She's not in the nation. I don't think.
Okay,
I think she may just be Muslim, but I don't think she's in the nation anymore.
okay. I don't know if she ever was. I just she
Yeah,
may. I don't know if she ever was. She may have just been an Orthodox Muslim. So I don't
yeah,
know.
agree because she never said anything about Farrakhan or was around. She never spoke on any of that. So,
No,
so
she hasn't.
yeah, but so I mean, and actually, she's back out speaking again. So I seen her on a recent interview.
Yeah, she for whatever reason she reminds me of Martha Jean the Queen. I don't hear about her attaching herself to anything. She
Mm-hmm.
just is who she is, and this is what she
Mm-hmm.
has to say.
Yeah, and, exactly. And uh, what's tripped out is her message, and it's like she been saying this, said this stuff, God knows how long ago, and it's like it ain't went nowhere. It's like she just put it out there, and nobody listened.
Well, they you if you listen to her, they're not going to promote the benefits it has gotten you. It's always the negative stuff that gets promoted more so.
Always.
Yes, but I mean, most of the stuff she says, I wholeheartedly agree with her. I really do. And like she's another one. If she has heard this, but see, you can't find a bunch of her either. You see her every now and then. Excuse me. That's what I mean about even if they have heard about it. Sometimes getting certain things out is easier said than done. And you're right, they do have these right good platforms, but um, the platforms that they have can be manipulated by those who own the actual services of which their platforms are on. So, but I'm amazed that I mean, not one peep, male, not female, absolutely not one peep.
Not one peep. I'm talking about quiet as a church mouse pissing on cotton.
Absolutely.
Not
And
one had again. Just how this operating system is. Me and you both know they just don't mention anything just happenstance. It's always a reason behind it.
and I believe your reason is totally 100% correct. They are testing the waters, and we're going to test the waters with this, and let's see what we get. And if we don't get pushback with this, let's move forward and see if we can make it happen for real.
Seriously, let's go all the way to the extreme. And then we know how if they accept the extreme, it's just we can run over them then.
Absolutely. No, we are going to.
Yeah, ain't no
Because
doubt about
then
it.
what would happen is now you're going to start trying to mess with people's masters. And I guess uh, then it's going to be another problem because most of the people you're going to be coming after will probably be the women. Now you're going to have another problem. But we shall see.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that's I want to hear what someone has to say. I want to hear it. I want to
yeah.
see it.
I mean, even Ariana Grande, you up there singing this woman's songs.
Now I looked at that again too, what you sent me regarding that situation.
Did you see the lust in all them old farts' eyes?
Yeah, and it was funny how they were all trying to avert.
Pretend. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And Pastor Bullock, he just couldn't help himself. He got to licking his chops.
It was really interesting at the very least. Interesting.
Yeah. See, and I didn't even peep that how he was grabbing her up under her arms like he was trying to grope her. You know, I'm like, look at this
Well, you
pervert.
know, it was on the news for a while. Bit when Bishop Ellis, after he, thanked her for it, but it was on the news for a while after it occurred because it did look quite inappropriate,
Because I know he
and he had to.
apologized for it.
He had to explain himself for that. Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
But see, nobody took it back to that first frame when he was sitting there, the look on his face. That look said it all. He couldn't help himself. He had to touch that young soft girl. He couldn't help himself.
Well, he has a very pretty wife.
What that mean?
I'm just saying, you know.
When that ever meant anything.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's some truth to that too. Yes, it is. But really, and I wonder if Cicely Tyson was still alive and she saw that, would she make a statement? Because the older you get, the less you care about what other people think. Some of us never cared, but when you start getting older, I call it the mud deer age. You really don't care. And Tyler Perry wasn't he at the funeral as well? Tyler Perry.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. All of them sitting there sniggling and giggling.
Cause it was that was the longest funeral I'd ever seen in my life.
Okay,
The very longest.
I ain't even heard from her family, and her family is the very same people that said, "Well, we ain't gonna be talking about all that political stuff. We gonna be talking about her life." Well, that's what she was involved in. She was financing the goddamn movement.
Yeah, she was. She was.
Her, Dick Gregory, and what's his name, Harry Belafonte. They
Yeah.
financing the whole damn movement.
Sidney Poitier. Yeah.
Sidney Poitier, yes.
That is true.
And you
Very
got
true.
two of them who ain't even from America.
Yep. Sidney and Harry. That is very true. But
You
we're
know,
gonna see. Even I mean, that was really that's really some big stuff to go after this woman's music.
it
But
is. I mean, let's see now. Now here we go. You wait till she dead, right? And then here's the catch. You go after the very same people that you've been patterning your lifestyle after, black women. This is who you going after. This is the insult to black women. This is the insult to black people who went out and voted for Joe Biden, wasted your time standing in line, voting for Joe Biden. This is what you voted for.
and that's what you got.
And this what you got. I'm so tired of people saying, well, you can't say nothing because you ain't vote. No, you can't say nothing because you voted. You voted for this. I didn't. I got more right to say no to this than you will ever because you voted for it. You stood in line and said, I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. And this is what's coming out now. They disrespecting, yo, you so tough, you don't even want to admit it.
That's an absolutely true statement because really, I, like I said, I vote out of respect of people that died so I could. But on the same token, what I agree, what are we really voting for? We're really, as my relative would have said, co-conspirators to our own demise because they have pretty much eradicated the other parties, the independents, the libertarians. I mean, it's nothing but the Democrats and Republicans. The rest of them, they don't exist for all practical purposes. So, I mean, it has dwindled down to really nothing. If you didn't vote, it's not going to hurt you any more than if you do, from what I can see. But I would never tell anybody not to. That's something you have to decide on your own. But I don't see benefit one way or the other. I haven't, and we won't. The only way we will actually see a benefit is if we own the politician.
There you go.
You spending your $1 trillion on Gucci and Louis Vuitton and Prada instead of power.
There you go.
And that's when your voting will make a difference when you
Th-
have power behind who you're voting for.
And this is what I've been asking people, okay? And this is a very genuine question, and nobody has the answer. And I don't know why they don't have the answer because it's a very honest, and it's the answer is very simple, but nobody wants to answer it because this tells me how immature we are politically, okay? I always ask this question: what are you voting for? Nobody seems to know. One. And then the next thing I says, okay, wouldn't it make more sense if black people put their $1.4 trillion together and bought a president, then stood in line and voted for one?
Absolutely.
Okay, and now I take my line of thinking even further. Okay, because you'll always get a person who wants to come back at with you with blah 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 chicken park, right? So I always take it one step further, and I say, well, let's look at it like this. Wouldn't you agree with me that people work harder, faster, greater if they got paid?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
That's all I'm saying. So wouldn't you think they would work in our benefit greater, faster, harder, quicker if we paid them?
Not, and knowing they had some assurance of their own for doing what they were doing. Because
Exactly.
anybody you own, you got to do right by them because somebody's coming for them to jack them up too. But
The-
when they have a good strength behind them, something that they can really lean back on and not fall, don't have to worry about if they're going to be caught or not. It gives them power to do the things that's necessary.
and you get to hold them accountable. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, man. We didn't got your ass in office. What you gonna do for us? President Obama and the homosexuals. What you gonna do for us?
Well, that's the actor Romany Malco. I really like what he had to say years ago when he was talking about all of this. He said, presidential elections, they're important. Congress, that's important. He said, but the most important people are the ones where you live.
Your local elections,
And that's the most important election, that one.
because you're electing your judges and your prosecutors.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You
And
know,
I don't, it's not promoted that way. It
no, it's
hasn't always been like that, but that's the way it is. That's not promoted, the importance of it. So
no,
a
it's
lot of these so-called leaders and people who have prominent names and supposedly have done so much for communities, where are you when it comes to a time of learning? Because to me, when there is a voting and elections going on, that's a prime opportunity to also include whys and why you should do this and what can happen if you don't. All those to me are very important. And they don't take the opportunity to utilize that to their advantage. Because you can utilize that to your advantage by saying what part of it you can make happen or how you can make it happen. Because see, all these folks going to Washington, D.C., that's what you say you want. But if you don't have the rest of Congress behind you, it means nothing. It sounds good and that's it.
and they constantly tell you on TV if you're watching. Only thing they do all day is go to each other and make deals. You can sit on my board if you sign my group, my bill. I give you a spot on my committee. You sign my bill. That's all they do all day long, and they
And you
ain't
have to
wrote
vote
it.
for this to make me look good.
Yeah, and they ain't wrote damn bill. All the bills have been wrote by AT&T and IBM and all of them. Because I remember when I was working at AT&T, I had to go up to the executive suite on I can't think of what floor it was down there on Michigan Avenue, where all the lawyers and executive was, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Boss suite. And I'm in there with Robert, the big attorney, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as I tell people, you never want to do support for any of them kind of people because they assholes. Never. They like it their way, how they want it this way. You can't go up there and be no jerk. But I'm bringing him up is to say is he was headed out and he needed his laptop, and so boom, I was taking care of his laptop. And I asked him, I said, "What are you going up there for? To drop off a bill?" He says, "To drop off a bill." He said, "No, I'm going up there to give them the bill I wrote."
Wow.
Straight up, I said, "Wow." The bill got passed. AT&T got their money. Claimed it was because they couldn't meet payroll. Got that money, and guess what they did? Bought two companies with it.
Truly amazing. Well, we know they play games with the money. Um, you remember when it was Ameritech and
uh,
Ameritech tried to steal the union's money because we were so overfunded
yep,
and they got caught and got in trouble?
yep.
And I'm going to tell you about something else. This may or may not be a party to that, but it could have some influences. I was reading today about stock buybacks. And at one point in time, most of the 20th century, for them to buy their stocks back was illegal because it was believed that it would be a form of manipulating
The
what
market.
really is and what's really is going on with the market. Absolutely. But they have been buying their stock back big time lately. Microsoft and uh, A- Apple, Google, Alphabet, they've been buying their stock back. But what the critics were saying, and I agree with them, is that it's really fudges the numbers. Now, it may look good for you when they pay dividends, but unless they are reinvesting the money in research and development or possibly hiring more people, it's not as advantageous as it looked. And it's not a true definer of how well that organization is really doing. Not to mention, because it the money makes their earnings report look better, the dividend is going to be higher, or the money they can give to the execs. So it could be looked at as a form of greed as well.
I mean,
So
and and how can a human being such as myself compete with AI? And they got billions of dollars to incorporate AI.
absolutely, and the one they've been talking about a lot recently is Chat
That G,
GPT.
uh-huh.
Yes, but I would tell you this. I would suggest anybody involved in the stock market to read up on it and invest you in some. I suggest that.
I
Maybe
definitely
you get paid.
I, this is what I tell people. It's instead of worrying about the robots, learn how to live with them.
Absolutely. Because they look, you already got one doing your vacuuming for you.
You got one doing your vacuuming, you got they doing your deliveries. They gonna be
Uh, they-
driving the trucks.
yeah,
They flipping your burgers, doing your French fries, your tacos,
they
your
are your
gas
grocery
stations,
store.
at your grocery stores. You already living amongst it. I seen a video about Walmart, right? And Walmart, not just what happened was the young lady got arrested because she owed Walmart. Guess how Walmart found out. Guess how Walmart busted her ass. Self checkout. Self checkout.
Oh yeah.
Self checkout automatically knows if you didn't scan something, and it attaches it to your bill saying you didn't scan this.
Yep. I saw something to that effect. And that's why I like to play with a card, not cash. And I like to check my receipt before I leave out. Ironically, I had gone to the store once and I put something in there that I'd been looking for a while because I couldn't get it offline. And when I got home, I realized I didn't have it. So I checked my receipt and it wasn't on there. I have no idea what happened to that item. And I'm assuming it fell through the holes in the cart. But just like little stuff like that, you just had it been on my receipt and I didn't have it, no big deal. But had I had it and it not been on my receipt, that could be a problem. They could literally come and arrest you for shoplifting.
Exactly. Exactly. And this
I
what
don't
they
like self checkouts. I really don't. I'd be lying to say I don't use them because they can be convenient. But I prefer because, and just I'd give you something else too, just to digress again. DTE is now setting up appointments so they can send somebody out to make sure that to add on whatever equipment they need to add on to make your gas meter be a remote where they
yeah,
can just read it from anywhere. So now the guys don't have to come out.
yeah, the smart meters.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah. They
So that's
all
another piece of your job that they
yeah,
can take.
and the smart meters also oh shit, it was something else about them smart meters. I'm glad you brought it'll come to me. It was something else about them smart meters too. Because it allows them to cut it on and off from your remote. You ain't paid your bill. They can now actually monitor your true. It's a whole bunch of other shit to go along with that. With all
Yeah,
they
I
can
didn't
do.
particularly care for it, but I knew wasn't no sense of trying to fight that system. I'd be the only one without it, and then that'd be another problem. They'd
And,
be
and,
doing
and,
other stuff to my
and then they
service.
gonna charge you for not having it.
Yes. So, and then they're gonna send somebody out. They got a 4-hour window, and if
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna call you first to let them know they're en route, and if you don't answer, they're gonna not send the person out, and you have to reschedule. Imagine.
Imagine, imagine that.
But yeah, you know what
Imagine.
it makes me. You know what it reminds me of. You remember Mel Farr had that item on the car that if you didn't pay the bill, he could cut it off, and folks' cars was
Uh,
getting cut off for some real inopportune times.
Hold on, my neighbor was like that, right? My neighbor was like that. He out there one day cleaning the car up, getting ready to he putting spit shine in it. He got the sounds pumping. He go to start the car up, the car don't start. Man, can you give me a boost? I give him a boost. It still don't start right. He he called Mel Farr and called Mel Farr, and they and they said, yeah, you owe us 2 months of the car though.
Wow. And they tell you they do that, but some people don't believe
Yeah.
that it'll really happen. Oh, Mel Farr wasn't playing. He wanted his money.
Thank you. By no means he wasn't playing. He knew
And
his
I
people.
ain't mad about that.
He
Because
knew
if
his
you couldn't
people.
get a car anyplace else, you could get one in Mail File. But however,
Yeah,
you're gonna have to
exactly.
pay.
You gonna pay your bill though.
Yeah. I'll give you a car when nobody else will, but you're gonna pay my bill when nobody else will. Business is business. Here's what it is.
Hey, he knew who he was dealing with.
Yeah.
He knew who he was dealing with. So he like, oh, and the car already insured, so I'll come get it eventually. I'll wait till 3 o'clock in the morning when all y'all sleep and come get it with the tow
Yeah. That's the time to do it. Anytime. That's the time to do it. Yes, it is. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. That is the time to do it. Yes, it
trust,
is.
trust me, I know that's when they came and got mine.
Ah, so we're speaking from experience, are we?
So, yes, we are. Come out first thing in the morning, and the only thing you see is skid marks. God damn, the tow truck that got me. The repo man that got me. And then, hold on now. And then after it get repoed, I get 5011 motherfuckers talking about, you could have parked it over my house.
Oh yeah, now you want to tell me that? Yeah, right. Not only will they get the car, now they gonna get me for something else you doing over there. Mm-mm.
You get 5011 people talking about you come over there. Man, go shut the hell up talking to me.
Yeah. Then I let you come. I let you do it. Something really happened to it. Next thing I know, I'm in court. You telling me I fraudulently did something to some insurance because
Exactly.
you didn't get some money.
Exactly. Exactly. Well,
Mm-mm, I'm good.
we spotted your car on this street at such and such a time from such and such a camera.
Hey, ooh, and you know what? And people don't think about all the cameras that's out here. They take that for granted, but I think they need to pay attention. That's
Oh,
hilarious stuff. Say, I know it happened to me.
hold on, no, China now in their social credit system, they take pictures of people who ain't supposed to be in certain areas because of their bad behavior, and they got them sprinkled all on the walls.
You
Yeah,
know what that? You remember Minority Report with Tom Cruise in it?
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yes. That's called pre-crime.
Yep. And I
Yeah,
tell you, people, I've been trying to tell people for years, these movies are not entertainment that you think they are.
they
They are
documentaries.
they are precursors to things that are going to occur. And they
Yes.
just trying to get you all in and you don't even know you being taken.
They just softening you up. As I like
That's
to
it.
say, they just tiptoeing you into it.
That's it. That's all. Because now that I got you this far, you'll take it to rest. Because you'll accept everything now.
Exactly. Everything and anything.
Yep. And it's too late. You don't even realize what you're doing. It's too late. They
And
don't even realize they're doing it.
no, because they trust the science. And I realize that science is based upon theory, and theory is based upon speculation.
And what did RZA say? The science. He says no such thing as the science. It's sciences.
Yeah,
Science is ever evolving.
so now you're gonna agree with something that's based on speculation. That's just like the stock market. It's all speculation.
Yeah. Stock market is the other version of the black man's numbers.
Yep. The numbers was invented from the stock market. This man who worked, and I can't think of his name, and I have to get his name. He worked as a janitor in the stock market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Figured out the numbers game. Figured out the numbers from being a janitor at the stock exchange. Figured it and was able to finance pretty much all of Harlem. And they quietly don't talk about that he also gave her the money is
And the queen, her name is Queen something.
The
Uh,
queen, the
yeah, she's
queen,
the one. Cicely Tyson played her
yeah,
in
the
that Bumpy
queen took it
Johnson
over
movie.
after him. The queen took it over after him, but he financed who's the straight and comb woman?
C.J. Madam Walker.
C.J. Mark Walker. They mentioned it briefly, right? They mentioned it briefly, but he financed Madam C.J. Walker.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
Wow.
absolutely. And see, and them the kind of
We're helping
stories.
each other when we look. At least we were helping each other.
That's what I'm okay. That's what I'm saying. Instead of all of these slave stories, instead of all of these Mama Dear buffoonery stories, can we get that kind of story?
Yeah, yeah. Well, DeSantis don't want you getting any story at all.
Hey, that don't stop nobody from putting it out there.
Thank you. And it doesn't stop you. Matter of fact, you ought to be more curious. At this point in
Exactly.
time, and I don't know why it's taking this long even, you ought to wonder why they hate you so much. You really should. Something this should concern you. Why do you hate me so much? You
Exactly.
don't know me.
I ain't never did anything to you.
Nothing. But you sure hate me.
You know, that's we is we still got a lot to learn though. I mean, because it's hard to get people to understand that signs and symbols rule the world, and I have to explain to them that it does because when you see Ronald McDonald, what do you envision? When you see that McDonald's sign, what do you envision? Those are signs
Hmm.
and symbols. And it's being used against us all the time because we don't know what it is
And we don't pay attention.
and we don't pay attention. Exactly.
We take too much for granted. And part of that for us has been so saturated since slavery because slavery is not where we start. Slavery is the big hiccup in our journey.
And,
And there's
and
so much saturation of self hate, self doubt, um, and that you are less than the white person that's talking to you, telling you something you couldn't possibly be right and know more than them. And no, I mean, all of us are not like that, but too many of us are. Because if you loved yourself, there's no way you'd be involved in all these shootings and killings and drive-bys and all this foolishness. You wouldn't. You got some issues, serious, deep-seated issues.
seriously, and I'm constantly telling people, stop playing, stop with this victimhood stuff. We ain't victims. You ain't. Your grandparents had it worse than you. What are you talking about?
Ooh, tell me about it.
I
And you
mean,
talk about the
what are you
grandparents.
seriously?
Don't begin to talk about the greats and the great greats.
Seriously, I mean, what are you talking about? Them people had way less than you and was way more happier. What is wrong with you people?
Yeah, that is absolute. That's so true.
I mean,
Everything was fine until the civil rights movement came out. You know, that's my biggest
seriously.
pet peeve. That's a big pet peeve for mine. And I know some of us don't even understand the damage. We don't understand the long term damage that caused.
Exactly. Exactly. Listen, let's see. Well, and as long as we continue to allow uh, the wrong people as our leadership in the so-called community, whatever that is now, we're gonna always be in a bad situation because these people they self-serving.
Not only that, we need to know who a leader is. The leader should be your daddy up in your house. That should be your first leader,
It
your
should be your
father.
first, and then we go into the spiritual realm and go now. You want to talk God and because I seen Kevin Samuel ask this young lady this, and it was a very I had to think about
You
this.
said
And
Kevin Samuels?
yeah, he
Hmm.
asked her this. He says, black women are always saying that black men should lead, black men should lead. And he asked her, he said, well, who are you following? She said, my daddy. He said, see, that's the problem right there. You should be following your husband. So how dare you say black men should lead?
He's right.
He was totally
Because
right.
if your father is the man that you learn from, If you learn it right, then your husband is the man in your house. The
Yeah.
man, the woman, the child. That's the order. And I don't understand that if you got a good man who is doing what he should be doing, a God-fearing man, a loving, a caring, one who's a protector, what is the problem? That's why I say you don't know what submission is, because a righteous man who you have for your spouse, that's an easy man to submit for, because submission doesn't mean brow down and walk behind me. That ain't submission. Submission is letting him be the one that rules that house. Here, you all talk together and you come up with a decision together, and he is the last word. Even if it's your decision, he's the last word in the house. It is what it is. It, it will alleviate a lot of stress off your mind. It will,
And
it will
we here
alleviate a
to
lot of stress in your life.
we here to take things off your plate that you shouldn't be doing. The problem of that and what I ran into, unfortunately, is because if a woman would ask me to take out the trash and I didn't do it at that exact moment, now she got an issue. Hey, the trash don't need to be taken out to the damn tomorrow morning when the trash man comes. So what is you upset about?
Absolutely.
Because I didn't do it when you said do it, why you said do it, and Jump said do it? Is that because that's all I got?
He's your husband, not your child. Treat him accordingly, and you'll be surprised how you'll get treated.
No doubt. No doubt. So, yeah. Ooh, excuse me. So I guess we can, start to wrap this up for the day. Pretty good
Yes, my
session here.
darling. I do believe it was wonderful and great. And I want all our listeners to have a wonderful, wonderful day and evening. I want everybody to press the like, the share, the subscribe, press all the buttons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're gonna end this on a high note. Peace and blessings to everybody. And it's even though it's snowing here in Detroit, go out and have some fun and enjoy life.
Until next time.
Have a good one.